I couldn't wait till Monday to unbox another awesome Moonstone set of characters, so today we're going to be diving into the shades of Moonreach, and in particular, we're going to focus on the Shady bunch. This is a great set to add to the Life and Death starter set, so if you're looking to expand the characters as you get ready for campaign play, this is going to be a great way to go. And in this video, I'll go through the miniatures, get them built, fully assembled, and then we'll have a look at the character cards to see what they do on the battlefield. Alright, let's get right into it then. And these are the Shady bunch, one of the newest sets from Moonstone, and these are part of the new Shades of Moonreach faction. And I've got to say, these three miniatures in here, I've been really looking forward to get out and build them up. And you may have seen in the previous video, I just went through some for the Fawns and different sets you could use for those for the Leshavult. But now we're going to look at the Shady bunch, because I want to be developing two different troops that we can take into campaign play. And these characters, I think, are going to be perfect alongside the ones you get in the starter set. Great fun, tons of character, and these are just going to be so good to paint as well. Alright, we're getting it out of the box now, and you can see that it's well protected with these two chunky pieces of foam. That's going to make sure those resin miniatures and cards don't slide around and dig into each other. Altogether, we're going to get 3 miniatures and then 1 card for each of them. So let's get them out of the packet and you can see exactly what's included. We've got 3 bases, and then one of them's a little bit bigger than the other 2, and then we've got the 3 different models. And if you've seen any of the Moonstone videos I've done before, or picked up any of the characters, you'll know the bottom right hand corner tells you what size base to use. Each model is provided in a little bag, so that's going to keep it separate so you know exactly what pieces to put together. And some Moonstone models come in one piece, so no assembly required except for gluing it to the base, and others might be 2 or more pieces, but all very simple, very straightforward to put together. You won't get any instructions in the boxes like this, but you can look at the pictures on the box itself or on the website, and it's always very self-explanatory as to where everything goes. And you can see here for Marley, we've only got 3 components that we're going to glue together before putting it on the base. A little bit of cleanup to do, but super crisp. The casting on these new resin models is just fantastic. I love the level of detail that they've just managed to get with all their models throughout the range, but it's just getting better and better. And with this new faction, we're getting a real treat and some really awesome characters to include in our collection. Next up, we've got Senara, which is a kind of siren character. Real fun, and this one's going to go on the larger of the bases. I can't wait to get this painted. This is one of the ones that really stood out to me when they did their Kickstarter campaign a while back. And yeah, really awesome to get this model finally out of the box. And this is going to be a really great one to paint. I think it's going to just look so cool alongside the miniatures from the starter set too. And then finally, we've got our third character in here, which is Morag. And this is a real sinister looking character squatting down there on the rock. Fits in really well with these 2 models. And this one you can actually use in Leshavult, and I'll show you that on the card later on. But otherwise it's a Shade of Moonreach faction character. Now we've got all the parts laid out. I'm going to go away and get these built and glue them to the base. And then we'll have a real close look at the characters fully assembled before we look at the cards. Here they all are lined up together, and I've just trimmed them off in a few places they need it, and a good scrub with a toothbrush and some hot soapy water before I get them painted, and they're good to go. Let's zoom in and have a closer look at Morag. Morag's great because you can use her as the Leshavult or Shades of Moonreach, so you've got lots of flexibility here, and I just think a fantastic model. You could raise her a little bit more off the base if you wanted to add something to it, a water effect or something, but I'm going to keep it as is. I think there's enough going on there that we can make interesting for sure. So on the card, we can see that Morag is a Fawn and a Spirit, melee 3, range 1 inch, arcane 4, and evade -1. It's going to be slow, so the jog action is going to be limited to 2 inches. They've got an Eclipse ability. When an enemy targets this character with an arcane ability, you may reveal a green 2 or a pink 2 from your resist hand before any cards are played. And if you do that, the character is going to reduce all damage suffered to no damage at all whilst resolving the current action. Let's have a look at Reclaim Life next. This has got a 4-inch range. Once per turn, target friendly character suffers 2 wounds, or if at least one friendly model was slain or reduced to 0 wounds this turn, it may restore 2 wounds instead. We've got some arcane abilities, including Shadow Stride, which is a cost of 2 energy, and this is going to be any green or any pink, and we're going to place the model within X+1 inches. There's a catastrophe though. This character suffers 3 wounds. And then Hunting Ritual, 3 energy, 8-inch range. This attack is not modified by the evade stat. And we're looking for a 3 in any of the colours there. Target suffers an amount of wounds equal to half the number of wounds, rounded up, they currently have remaining. There's a catastrophe as always. The target may be moved 4 inches by the resisting player. Right down the bottom, we've got the wounds. You can see 7 altogether for Morag, and then the energy is going to start to come off pretty much straight away there. You can see the base is going to be 30 mil, so you know exactly what to build her on, and then the faction logos at the top telling us which factions can be played. We're going to flip the card over and have a look at the signature move, which is going to be achieved on a high guard. So let's turn the card over. This is called Shadow Form, and here you can see that whatever card the opponent plays, you're not going to deal any damage, but you are going to reduce the damage suffered by -1, and if the enemy has 4 wounds or fewer remaining, you're instead going to reduce damage suffered to no damage whatsoever. Nice, so you really can imagine how that would play out in the narrative as a shadow form there. The attack's just going to go right through the character. Let's go on now and have a look at Marley. Such a fun character, great sculpt again, and when it's put together, I just love this character. It'd be great to have 2 of these, then we could do the song properly, but I'm happy with 1. Let's have a look at the card then. You can see here Marley is a spirit, and Marley's going to have a melee of 2, range of 1 inch, arcane 3, and evade -1. We've got resonance here, so friendly spirits within 8 inch have a resistance hand of +2 cards when targeted by an enemy arcane ability. That's nice. And then slip through the Deadlands. Friendly spirits within 8 inch gain blink. When making a step action, this model may be placed within 1 inch of itself instead of moving 1 inch. And you can do that once per turn. That's a couple of really nice buffing abilities there. We've got another one, Incorporeal Form. When this character activates, it may discard 1 energy. If it does, this character reduces all non-magical damage suffered to none at all, and may ignore other models and terrain during jog actions, but cannot take harvest actions until end of turn. That's going to be really useful. Then we've got our arcane abilities down the bottom. The first is Horror for 3 energy, 8 inch range. If at least 1 friendly model was slain during this turn, resolve this attack with +2 arcane stat. We're looking for 2s in the colours there. Target gains Horrified. During the discard step, this character will suffer 2 wounds until the character is slain, and then Catastrophe, this model suffers 2 wounds. We've also got Reanimate for 3 energy. We're looking for 2s again, and now we'll place a friendly slain model in base contact with this model, restore half of its health rounding up. It has no energy but may activate this turn. And the catastrophe, as always, this model suffers 4 wounds. All up, Marley can take 7 wounds, and the energy is going to go pretty quick after the first couple of attacks there, and then leaving 2 right at the end. The base is 30 mil altogether, and now we can see the faction here is just going to be Shades of Moonreach. Let's flip the card over. We're looking for a signature move on a high guard. It's called Boo! And then you can see again, just like Morag, the opponent plays any card. The damage is going to be none at all, but the end step effect is where it all counts. And we'll move the enemy 2 inches directly away. If the enemy is in possession of at least 1 Moonstone, it loses possession of 1 Moonstone before moving. Place it in base contact with the enemy at depth 1. I really love that one. I think that's going to be a really interesting one to try and play. But we've got one more character to look at. This is Senara, and this is a spirit merfolk. Great sculpt again, so much detail and character here. This one's going to be great to paint up. You've got a nice big base, 40 mil altogether, so we've got lots of room for a really cool water effect or swampy effect if we want to. We can see that spirit and merfolk is at the top, melee 3, range 1 inch, arcane 4, evade -1. We've got Oceanic, where this model's jog actions are limited to 2 inch, but may be made freely over water features. Then there's Summon from the Depths. When this model is deployed or enters play, you may place a new friendly aquatic psychopump in base contact. I'll show you that later on. And if deployed, this must be in the deployment zone as normal. This cannot bring a character into play if it was already in play. Then we've got Merfolk Magic. 2 energy, 10 inch once per turn. Place this model within target water feature. This ability may only be used if this model is within a water feature. This is fun, so you definitely want to be getting some water features on the battlefield, and to do that you're going to be using Torrential Surge, 2 energy. Place a 50mm diameter water feature within 3x and line of sight on open ground. This remains in play until end of game. A maximum of 3 water features may be placed by this troop. If a 4th is placed, you may choose and remove a water feature you created earlier in the game. There's always a catastrophe, and this time this model will suffer 2 wounds. I'll show you some really cool water features, little tokens, when we look at that Psychopomp in a minute. We've also got Siren Song, 3 energy, 12 inch. We're looking for blue here. Move target X plus 2 inch directly towards this model. Then, if the target is within 4 inches of a water feature, it suffers a huge 4 magical damage. The catastrophe though, the resistant player may move this model 2 inches. That's a perfect arcane ability for this miniature, and I think going up against Booty's build will be really fun playing that in particular. At the bottom we've got signature move on a sweeping cut, and again 7 wounds, starting to lose them quite quickly as they get through. The base is 40mm, and we're looking at the faction just Shades of Moonreach. Let's flip it over then and have a look here. This is called Vicious Claws then, the upgrade for sweeping cut. Looking for slicing damage, and then you can see here there's going to be no special effects or end step effects. We're straight up looking at doing some damage with this character. Falling swing and rising attack's going to be nice if the opponent plays that, so that's what you're hoping to get. Right, let's check out those water feature tokens that I was talking about. I'm going to feature these properly in another video, because we've also got to look at the Shades of Moonreach token set. But if you want to get hold of them, you can get tokens and this Charge of the Fright Brigade to get this real awesome character, Jeremy, Lord of the Deep. This is going to be the Psychopomp that you can use alongside Senara. And here's everything laid out. We've got the miniatures, the cards, the tokens if you want them, and Charge of the Fright Brigade. More to open and paint up later on in this series as we get ready for campaign play. And I love this box set. It's one of my favourites. Definitely some of the best characters, I think, from what I've seen so far of Shades of Moonreach, and I can't wait to include these with the starter set. Along with the starter set, you also get the fawns, and check out the other videos I've done, both on the starter set itself, but also on Boris the Bunny Summoner, as I'm getting ready to expand these 2 troops alongside the starter set, ready for campaign play, which I'll be covering here during this Moonstone series. And look out, if you're into campaign play, the cards have been put up on the website this week to download for free from Moonstone. So updated campaign cards, and the Horizon book is brilliant for campaign. It's also great if you want to have a real good look at the miniatures painted up really well. And this will give you lots of inspiration for your collection. You'll definitely want more models when you see that. For now though, I hope this video has been helpful, and thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out any other videos in the series, I've covered quite a lot of painting videos already, and we're going to be looking at some other videos on campaign play as we start going through it, and having a look at some of the other things like terrain and tokens, while opening many more boxes on top of this starter set. So check out those videos, they're all on the channel. Even if you want to learn how to play the game, I've got you covered with that, as I've done a full series on how to play Moonstone, going through all the rules you need to play to get up and playing in no time. So there's links at the end of this video. Check out the playlist, there's loads on there to dive into, and I hope you find it all really helpful. It's a fantastic game, I love it, it's so fun, and I'll put a link down below so you can find out more from Moonstone and Goblin Games. But thanks again for watching. If you did like the video, it'd be great if you hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I look forward to seeing you here next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.